And this week, I'm just going to start out by saying that the animation industry suffered a major tragedy. Technically, yes, there was the Emoji Movie, but that's not the tragedy that I'm referring to. What I mean is that they lost someone who really did play a big role in the medium's history. Not just in terms of her job, but also her contribution to make animation as big as it is today. And what I am referring to is, of course, June Foray, who sadly passed away at the age of 99, just more than 2 months away from her 100th birthday. And this was actually confirmed by her close friend, David Nemitz, which, by the way, I'm using my source here on Variety to pretty much describe everything about June Foray. And the big significance with June Foray, in case you don't know who she is, in terms of what she does as her job, she is actually a well-known voice actress. In fact, a lot of people would even say she is the first lady of voice acting, where she would do voices for many decades. I would say probably around for about 70 years even. Like, until the day she died, she has done nothing but actually no, that's a lie to say that she has done nothing but that. She has always been voicing animated characters. Now, many of the standout ones that I would like to mention right now, some of the more recognizable ones that you probably know, and I just want to say right now, if you are listening to this, then there is an extremely good chance, or it is a fact, that you grew up with a character that was voiced by June Foray. Now, her most popular roles would actually be from Warner Brothers, and especially with the Looney Tunes, where she would be the voice of Witch Hazel and Granny, a role in which she would be voicing for more than 60 years. The same Granny that you would hear in the late 50s is actually the same Granny that you would end up hearing much later on in shows like the Looney Tunes show. I kid you not. But also at the same time, she is known to be the voice of Rocky the Squirrel and Natasha in the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. And she would even provide the voice of Cindy Lou Who in Chuck Jones' How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But then there would also be some Disney voices that she would also do. She would be the voice of Lucifer from Walt Disney's 1950 film Cinderella. And then much later on, decades later, she would be the voice of Grandmother Fa in Mulan. And then also, she would provide a lot of big voices in TV shows. But for Disney, probably her most popular role on television is Magica De Spell in DuckTales. And this is just a handful of the voices that she provided. She has done hundreds of voices throughout her entire career. But her legacy does not stay in just voice acting. That's not the big reason why she is a major player in the history of animation. In the early 60s, she is actually one of the founders of ASIFA-hollywood, which is the big organization that is meant to go and preserve the history of animation and all the projects that came from it. And she would be one of the founders in the 60s with some other big name animation legends, including Les Goldman, Bill Littlejohn, Ward Kimball, John Wilson, Carl Bell, and Herbert Kazower. But then, in the 70s, she thought up of an idea with ASIFA to go and create a special award show that would be dedicated to audience. Like what the Oscars is to movies, what Emmys is to television, what Grammys is to music, and what the Tonys are to Broadway. She wants to create something that is the award, like the Oscar equivalent to animation. And to this day, that award show is still going on, which is known as the Annie Awards. So in a way, June Foray would be like the founder of the Annies. And on top of that, it's not just with the Annies that she is a big player in terms of awards. She was also a big, big player in terms of the animation categories in the Oscars, where she fought very hard with the Academy in order for them to keep the Best Animated Short category. And for many years, she had worked very, very hard in order for the Academy to go and end up creating Best Animated Feature. So it really is thanks to her that animation does have a good, large presence at the Oscars. Now, with all that said, if I may go and read a little excerpt from the ASIFA president, the great Jerry Beck, he stated, "On behalf of ASIFA-Hollywood, of which June was a founder, we are mourning the passing of animation's best friend. She has touched so many lives, with her voice that of so many classic cartoon characters, her efforts to create ASIFA, to maintain the Academy's Oscar for Best Animated Short, and her leadership in crafting the category of Best Animated Feature. She was one of a kind, a trailblazer, a great talent, and a truly wonderful person. We will never forget her." I was almost about to say we will never forgive her, but that would be an absolute lie. Like, we have all forgiven her, in fact, much more than that. We will never forget her. That's kind of the big thing. But I just want to say my own little piece about this. When I first heard that June Foray passed away, like, I was totally crushed. Probably a bit more than some of the ones that we have lost in 2016. Like, honestly, like, I felt as crushed and sad as when I heard that Gene Wilder passed away. It really was tragic, because I truly am one of those people that grew up listening to the voice of June Foray. And for me, I feel like what I will remember her the most, and I've heard a lot of different voices from June Foray, like from Rocky and Bullwinkle and How the Grinch Stole Christmas and all the Disney cartoons and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I think what I'll remember her most is playing the role of Granny. Now, when I was a kid, I grew up watching a lot of Looney Tunes stuff, and little did I know that I would actually be listening to the same Granny from the classic cartoons from the late 50s onward, where she would play as Granny, or when I would go and watch some stuff like Sylvester and Tweety's Mysteries, or even some of the movies like Tweety's High Flying Adventure or Space Jam. That's all the same Granny. And it truly is phenomenal thinking that. And especially the fact that she is such an amazing actress, but such an amazing trooper as well. The fact that she would go on, even at her elder age, to continue voice acting, like, that is true devotion to animation that anyone would seriously admire. It's like, honestly, in a way, I feel like I want to grow up to be like someone like June Foray, to really make that great big impact in animation, rather it be through voice acting or to help out the medium in order to really make it strong, to really make it the powerhouse that it is today. You know, it's truly phenomenal, and she really did such amazing work that really did touch the lives of everyone. It really is. And like I said before, it really is heartbreaking to hear that she would have to go. But then again, her time would eventually come sooner or later. I mean, keep in mind, she was just a few steps away from turning 100 years old. So, to say the least, she really did live a good, full life. No, not even that. A great, full life. Like, she really did contributed so much. And I think, honestly, it is Chuck Jones who actually said it best about her. That June Foray is not the female Mel Blanc, but that Mel Blanc is actually the male June Foray. And it really is true. And honestly, this is such an admirable woman, down to the point that she pretty much is one of the biggest icons in animation, period. Like, not just in voice acting, but just in animation, to really help it grow strong, to create an organization, to really let the Oscars know that animation does exist and we need to keep it up there, to create an entire award show to celebrate animation, like to really make it the medium's biggest night so that all the artists and animators can come together and have fun. But really, also, I think another great big thing about June Foray is really the fact that she is known to be one of the biggest names in voice acting, and also the woman who quite literally gave a voice to women in animation, who would later pass on the torch to many other fantastic female voice actresses that we know today, like Cree Summers, Tara Strong, what else is there? Gray DeLise, and so much more. I might be missing a few, I apologize, but you get the idea. She really was the one to really launch that path to show that women can do such amazing things in voice acting and also can do amazing things in animation in general. And I really am going to miss that. And honestly, I seriously am going to miss June Foray. So, Granny, I just want to say thank you so much for the joy that you brought me as a kid and even today. And it really was quite an adventure, really learning about your contribution, at least to the Looney Tunes, when writing animation look back Looney Tunes. It really was amazing. And honestly, I will miss you. And no matter what, no matter who's going to be replacing her for roles such as Granny or Magica De Spell or Witch Hazel or whoever, I just hope that those people would do June Foray proud. I really do. And yeah, it really is sad to see her go, but honestly, she truly is an animation legend.